rebuilding confidence, and harmonizing with nature. With over 4 decades of changing lives, your self-discovery archaeologist, get ready to be the best of you with your host, Beverly Zimet.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Beverly Zimet Show, where being the best you keeps getting easier with every guest I have. And today I have Beata, and she's calling in from Colorado Springs. She's been here before, so she knows how this goes. Welcome to the show again.
Thank you so very much, Beverly, for having me here. And it's such a pleasure just not only be on your show, but in your presence. So, yeah, I'm
Oh, that's
thankful.
so sweet. Thank you. So, what is new in the world in Colorado Springs these days?
Colorado Springs is doing well. People are happy. The one I surround myself with, I know that they are happy. They are looking forward to this change that we unexpectedly received in 2020. Yes, but unexpected change, it's what is part of our life. So we do our best in here in Colorado with taking it day by day, following instructions, and just doing our best to grow during this time.
You know, that's a key word what you said right there, to grow in this time, right? And again, it's it's kind of getting into that self, right? And figuring out what am I going to do to make the best out of this situation, right? Where's my beliefs? Where's my truth? Where's my following, right? And really start thinking for yourself and responding to yourself. You know, what is the mess in the world and the chaos that's out there, and how does it impact you, and where does it take you down that road of your belief system, right?
Absolutely.
You
And
know,
I love what you just said, and it's one of my key beliefs and key teachings. Think for yourself first. That is so important. When chaos is around you, when you are able to think for yourself, you are able to find peace, and you are able to figure out what you are capable to do with all what is happening around you, because this peace, this awareness of what is not under your control will be here.
right.
So the think for yourself first. I am so grateful that it's one of your uh, keywords too.
Yeah, you know, it is, because if you're not thinking for yourself, if you're not responding and listening and paying attention to what your belief and what your truth is, then you're responding to the fear of the rest of the
Right.
world, right? And then you just become one of those followers, one of those that just said, "Oh, they said it. They said, who the hell is they?" Right?
Right,
It's like, what do you mean, who
exactly.
is they? Right?
Yeah, and when we go to social media or TV, unfortunately, you're not gonna get too many or much of hopeful information. That everything is pessimistic and bad and just tragic. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't watch TV anymore. So,
You know, I haven't owned a TV in 25 years or more. Because to me, it's like, it's just somebody's opinion of what's going out there. And it's unfortunate that we've grown up in this society where devastation or someone else's tragedy is what sells. It's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? We should be like excited about all the great things that are happening and all the fun things and what people are doing that are making the world a happy place to be and an exciting adventurous place to be. Is like, whoa, what happened? How did these tables get turned upside down to where we have to follow and have to live in that fear-based world? I mean, you know, way back when in our ancestral beings, right? When there was a lion or a bear behind the tree that was going to come and get you if you weren't careful,
right.
right? It's like, okay, But again, even back then in that ancestral time, when that was a possibility, it's like, okay, now that that possibility has been conquered, right? Life went on. It didn't stay there and remain a fact in your life every single moment of your living and waking being. So look what's transpiring here. Wake up to yourself. What is your response? How are you responding to the lion behind the tree? Are you allowing everything to be a detriment every single moment of your life? Where's your level of anxiety? Where's your level of fear? Because anxiety is just a byproduct of fear.
Right.
Frustration, unknowingness, uncertainty, all of these things that work in that devastation and that downward spiral is coming off of fear. Well, why don't we start looking at the love aspect and all the positive things and all the great things and all the adventurous and the fun things, because that all stems off of love. So you have to ask yourself, where do you want to be? You want to be over here enjoying happiness, or you want to be down here in frustration and misery? Hmm. What?
About the choice.
There's a choice, right?
Yeah.
And it all begins here in the mind, right? It all begins in the mind.
Right.
We have a lot of isolated time, to do and to think and to start to really get into the inner workings of yourself, right? And become that self being. This word has been self, 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 self. Why do you think that word is out there? So Beatrice, share with the audience your description and your um, meaning, shall we say, of what it means to be self.
It's such a great question, first of all, but I will go back. Being self is being aware of who you are. And it starts with this independent thinking, going back to your values. What is important for you? And it was probably from the day you were born, but you just forgot because, like you said, everything is in our mind, and the stories that we were just dragging with us since we were yet taught as a kids, don't do this, don't do that, behave, like
Right.
be normal, come on, I know that you can do better. So there's never enoughness also. So we create all the stories around ourselves that most of the time are not really encouraging us to grow, that are not encouraging us to be self-assured that I can do whatever I have to do. I can be no matter what person. And this COVID, what is happening and whatever next is coming and will probably surprise us too, I can just put my hands on it and my mind around, and I was just gonna make through it. But like you said, it's all about self-awareness. So myself starts with my knowledge, with my awareness about who I am, who I want to become, because who I am, I'm just byproduct of, yes, my society, my culture. I'm from Poland originally, by the way. Yes, it's not Colorado Springs accent, but
That was
yes.
good. That was good. I got to give you that one. That was good.
So all this, this school teachers, everything is part of me. But then when I grow and I become more aware of self and who I really was at the very beginning, when I was just born, I was this uniqueness, this creature, perfect. The God, in God's eyes, we are all equal and perfect and unique. And we forgot when we grow up, we just forgot about that. So self for me is awareness about who I am at the core and who I am becoming. I want to become the most loving, the most courageous person that can share my skills with others and lift everyone around me up. So no one feels lonely, no one feels isolated or, uh, you know, separated and think that oh, it's happening for you, but it's not happening for me. Everything what is happening, the good stuff for me can happen for you, but please join me on this journey. And sometimes people like these days, they feel isolated, but they don't reach out. Why? You have to reach
There's
out.
$1 million question. Why not reach out? Again, I think it goes back into that fear, right?
Yes,
And you start paying attention to the media and to avenues that maybe you shouldn't be paying attention to, right? So when you start looking at the self and you start doubting yourself, you start wondering, what's right, what's wrong, did you do something, shouldn't you do it? Maybe that's the time to really start looking inward at where is my database of truth for me, right?
absolutely. And you said you look into any word and start saying what or asking what is wrong, what is right. But to be honest, and I'm sure because I heard you talking about that on your show as well, what is really right and what is really wrong. It's just the perception
Yeah.
on something that you like or something that you don't like that happened. And but after all, it's all good. You do right things all the time with what you have at the moment, with the knowledge, with the tools, and your awareness for that given time. So I stopped because I was also judging myself. Oh, you should do this better. Oh, you shouldn't do that.
Right.
Oh, wow, that was right. And then I was like, what is really right and wrong? It's just what we use to call this unwanted or wanted events in
Oh,
our
that
lives.
that's like perfect, wanted or unwanted event, because that is so true. And again, you know, there right and wrong is such a distorted, perception, because we all have our own database and we need to make a choice for ourselves. If it is incorrect, or if it's not comfortable for what fits into your line of being and thinking, don't do it. Just don't do it,
Absolutely.
right? But if it fits in, then that makes it in balance and harmony and truth for you. And in that aspect, if you want to use the right and wrong, it makes it right for you. And
Absolutely.
it's honoring the self. Oh, let's talk about this honor thing, right? It's honoring yourself and honoring others, right? Now, do you agree with everything that everyone else does? Oh, of course not. That
Course
would be
not.
crazy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But do you honor them for their choices? Do you honor them for their belief? Do you honor them for their is, right? Because if you
Absolutely.
if you don't honor that other person, how do you expect that person to honor you? So it's not about making somebody right or wrong. It's just about honoring and saying, okay, I can wrap my head around that. I'm glad that works for you. Not quite my choice of things to do, but hey, I'm happy for you if you're happy for you. I honor that, right? You know,
Absolutely. And I'm so happy that you brought this subject because I have to tell you, and I know that you are in much higher level of self-awareness that because you live longer and you are deeper there. But I'm getting there. I'm gonna catch you. But anyway, so
okay.
my story is that back in a time when I was still learning the self who I really want to become, my ego was so loud, and this, honoring somebody else's opinions or beliefs, it was like, no, no, let me help you. You are wrong. You see this,
Oh,
you
yes.
are wrong. I will show you. Listen, but if you just listen to me, I will show you what is right. And then when I started growing and becoming more aware and calming my ego and say, okay, you were useful, but now go on vacation. So, so I realized that right, and what is right for all this is the, I think, the biggest realization. What is right for me at this given moment, at this divine time in this world, it's not necessarily what would be right for Beverly, because you have different beliefs, you have different expectation and different dreams than mine. So I started respecting the other people for who they are and where they are at the moment, because it's not, it doesn't mean that they will stay there forever. They
Right.
might get to my level, but I have to respect their timing. If you are ready, please join me. For now, I'm so happy that whatever you do or think is working for you.
Right.
I can offer my point of view, my perception, but I won't drag you anymore. And before I was like, no, you have to go with me. My
Yeah, it's my way or the highway.
journey.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I used I
exactly.
used to use that all the time. Hey, you know what? It's my way or the highway, so I'm out of here. It's like, whoa, you talk about that ego getting in the way. It's like, wow. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a big one, and I think that's part of the whole learning curve of what's happening, It's that pendulum swinging, right? Cuz you got both sides of the fence. So when the pendulum
Absolutely.
is in one arena for an extended period of time and all of a sudden the realization happens, right? You're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting the heck out of here, right? And boom, that pendulum goes all the way to the other side, and now you're saying, yeah, this is the way it is, and you're beating that hammer for a long time, and then all of a sudden you wake up again and you go like, oh my gosh, I think maybe I need to bring it down, get here in the center point
Right.
and weigh the odds of this scale, right? Because when you're at one extreme or the other, a lot of a lot of um, a lot of really encouraging information and factual information kind of like out in the wilderness somewhere. As soon as you calm yourself down and you start to put yourself into that harmony, now your awareness opens up to the divine
Yeah.
intelligence to be able to bring in what that balance is. And all of a sudden, you start seeing and feeling and hearing everything from a different perspective, like, wow, because these big aha moments, because it moves you out of this physical presence of solidity, has to be this way or this way, into that light center of alignment and harmony, total
Yes.
awareness, and nothingness.
So
Nothingness.
in the state that you are talking now about, this calmness, which again, the calmness starts from your thinking, from your mind,
Right.
and then you can calm your body. I know that sometimes people think that it starts first here. No, because you have to calm your monkey mind. I mean, I call it monkey
It
mind.
is a monkey
And
mind.
yeah, and then everything else will calm. But I just want to highlighted what you said to summarize what you just said. This, so when you have this peace of mind and peace of word, then you, even when these unexpected, unwanted situations, events are happening around you, sometimes in you, because they're gonna get into you, you are like, oh, it's interesting. So you don't react, you respond. Like, oh, before it was like, I don't want it, I hate it, why is it happening to me? It's a
Oh
normal
yeah, that's
reaction,
usually the
yeah.
normal
And
response.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you start throwing stuff, who knows, yelling. It was me back in the time. And then you're like, oh, it's interesting. Hmm, let me think, what does it mean for me, what can I do
Right.
with it? So you don't react, you don't lose the control, but you are actually taking control over the chaos around you. And it's what is happening now with this whole lockdown, and we still don't know when it's gonna end. But
Right.
like we started, go inside of you, and it's the best time, best than ever, to find out who you are, what is important for you, what are your dreams. People stop dreaming, oh my
Oh
gosh.
my gosh, they
Yeah,
have, and they need to get back to that. You made some really valid points, with that. the conflict, when we have that inner conflict, that's what that automatic response is, right? Because everything is action, reaction, action,
Yes.
reaction, action, reaction, right? Well, where does it go? Are you spiraling into the abyss with that action reaction because of conflict? Because where there's conflict, there is no confidence, right?
Right.
So, what is happening is now you're debating with trying to justify what your so called truth is in conflict with the truth of someone else. So, are you really honoring them? Are you honoring
Nope.
yourself? Oops. Now that takes us back to that, right? But when
Right.
when you are confident in yourself and you believe in yourself and you trust in yourself, then the other person's responses are not going to trigger your reaction to like want to go after that jugular, right? So you can sit back and you say, interesting perspective. Huh, you know what? I used to have that. Well, I'm sure glad I conquered that one. Right? So it
Yeah, and
gives you
tap yourself like, good job, good job.
exactly. And that's what you need to do. I was just going to say that. You need to really compliment yourself for where you've gone on your journey, because it's that recognition that needs to be. But to be able to give yourself recognition, you must first recognize that there's
Right.
something there to pay attention to. So when you're looking at that conflict, recognize the conflict, acknowledge the conflict as being what? Your truth, because it was when you created it. It's in that cell memory. Your subconscious says, ah, yes, it was. I know it was because I remember way back then. And this and that and all this stuff, all this
Right.
crazy ass brain chatter, It's like, oh my gosh, you're driving me nuts, right? And it's like, all you have to do to stop that static is just tell the subconscious it's right. Oh, now we hit ego. Wait a minute. I can't say I'm wrong. Well, we go back into that right or wrong, right?
Right.
It's like the database of information that you gave to this little child, the subconscious, because of what you knew or what you were taught, what the environment was saying, and all that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, all right, let me surrender that. You are so right. Oh, okay. So the little child just calms down and says, ha, yeah, you're finally paying attention to me. Yeah, I am paying attention to you. And then
Exactly.
you start to get in that conversation, because now, when there's no conflict and no fighting, the child is ready to give up for something greater. So you can
Absolutely.
eliminate the old database to say, hey, you remember that? That was really kind of interesting back then, wasn't it? And get into this conversation, right, with that subconscious part of yourself and say, you know what? Oh my gosh. The other day, I was in this conversation and I saw this and I experienced this is really cool. You know what? If we get rid of this, we can take this and we can really have fun. Okay. And that's and really that's as simple as it gets when you're working with that subconscious, with that inner child of who you are, because it was protecting you from the moment of pain, of unsureness, of fears, right? Well, that was when you were 5 years old, or 4 years old, or 10 years old, or 15 years old, or whatever the case may be. And it continues to build on that. So when you can recognize the truth that's stored in that database, in that cell memory, that's doing that automatic reaction to somebody's action, right? You can prevent it from getting out of control. This is where that inner healing begins instantaneous, right? and
Yes.
and that's the work that both of us do, right? Is coming together jointly, is to really understand, to recognize, hey, there's something here in conflict with the inner workings of who I am. I need to change it. Get the ego, like you say, get that ego out of the way and start paying attention, because it's the higher consciousness that has to move through the subconscious to get to the consciousness. So the consciousness, the ego conscious self, does not have direct communication with the higher self. It must go through the subconscious, right?
Absolutely.
So get the
And
ego down, right, and pay
And I
attention.
think it's very important that you said to connect with your inner child. This inner child, if there is a unfulfilled need that your inner child still is screaming for, it's very important to acknowledge what this inner child wants. And sometimes it's a false fear, yeah, because like you said,
Yes.
you were in fear when you are 5, 10, 12. You were not under you didn't have your life under control because you were
Well,
too
you didn't
young.
have that database that you have now.
Yeah, but we are so beating, like at least people what I work sometimes with, they are beating themselves for that they didn't have power over what happened when they were that young.
Right.
And I did also a little bit, but yeah, we all do. So it's very important to do this inner child work too, and depends what happened to you and what experiences you had. But just the simple exercise that I do for myself when I feel this inner child jumping inside, like, I need this, I need that, or I'm not safe. It's like, calm down, child. You are good. You are safe now. I gonna take care of it. So just breathe deeply and keep your hands on your like stomach level and just press it a little bit, press, and you will feel this warmness and inner child, or I call it the little Beata. So just you are fine, you are safe.
Right.
Calm down. And it's helpful in this anxious moments when you think that something is out of your control. Sometimes you need to do deeper work. I'm
Right.
saying when you are already aware of what is going on. But I don't know what is your tool. There are many tools, but sometimes I just have to calm down my inner child and to
Right.
tell her that everything is under control. I will take care of you.
Right. In breathing is
Yes.
very, very helpful because when you breathe in that oxygen and you focus on that
Yeah.
breath, breathing it in, it creates a calmness. It's just like being outside in a breeze. Nature is naturally calming, right? And so, how do you bring that nature into the self, right? And it's through that breath. It's through that oxygen. You oxygenate the system. When you're aware of that, you take a deep breath. Everything has to relax, right? And so that calming effect that way is really, really
Yeah.
good. Even putting on soothing music. But if you're really anxious and it's just like, okay, I got to do more than breathing, just go for a walk. Even if you're just going in your backyard, walking around in a circle, and go out there barefoot, it's like, wow, just really connect with nature
Absolutely.
because it's an automatic harmony. Nature will balance itself no matter what. I mean, we look at some of the devastation going on with nature, and
Yes.
personally, I think this whole 2020 adventure, shall we call it, right, is a part of nature's way of saying, "Hey, wake up!" Right? You haven't been paying attention. Look at what you've done to this beautiful planet with all the
Right.
destruction and with all of the pollution. It's like, okay, I need a break from all you guys, so I'm going to just shove you in a corner here for a minute and hopefully you'll wake up and pay attention, right? Where are the damaging thoughts? Where are your polluted thoughts
Right.
with the polluted world? And pay attention to what I'm doing here. I'm breathing. That's why I blow the wind, right? Things might get heated up a little bit. Okay, we got some fires here because you know what? We need to balance an ecosystem here. Where's your ecosystem balance in yourself, right? So
Right.
you look at all of this, and these are the studies that I've done and the workshops that I am really passionate about is helping people to really understand all the things in nature, all the elements, the directions, the seasons, the animal spirits, what is nature telling us that we aren't listening to?
Well, to me, nature is saying, hey, human, I can survive without you. I will be fine without you, but you without me, not
Cannot
so much.
exist.
So
Yeah.
take care of me. Please take care of me.
Yeah.
It's what I hear. And it might be harsh, but it's true.
Oh, that is so impactful and so true. Because the planet was here long before we were, and it's going to be here long after. And
Right.
if we don't get it together, it might be sooner than later, right? So when you look at nature and you look at the civilizations, how have it's gone on, way back, it's still our ancestors, it's still our genealogy, shall we say, because we're all united. We all came from the same divine essence.
Yes.
So we're all united, and so that genetic strand has still playing some of that in our genes, right? But when you look at some of the things that we've done with our genes, with, oh goodness, with medicines, with thought patterns, with wars, I mean, you name it, it's all out there, right? Wow, what have we actually done with the genome of what the human is itself? How has our RNA and our DNA been
Yeah.
shifted? And again, can we get back into the resonance of what the human genome is supposed to be? Yes. And how do we do that? We don't use our brains, we use our mind. When I started my journey way back in 1974, that was a long time ago, right? I had no one out there other than my higher consciousness, and the divine intelligence to listen to. And again, it's learning how to listen to that essence that is speaking and that speaks to each and every one of us. So ask yourself, who am I listening to? Right? When the fears and the anxieties and the frustrations and the angers and the pain and the guilt and the griefs and all of that come into play, who are you listening to? Are you listening to the divine intelligence? Are you listening to the all knowingness of what's there? Or are you listening to the propaganda that someone wants to control and manipulate you with?
Right.
That's a personal paying attention.
Yes.
And now that you've paid attention, what are you going to do about it? There's information is, I mean, oh my gosh, it's a Google away, right? Someone mentioned that the other day on my show. Information is just a Google away. It is. Not in the day where I grew up. I mean, you had a research. Everybody had encyclopedias, and every so many years you had to upgrade the encyclopedia because more information came out. Well, oh my gosh, now all you gotta do is turn this little machine on and ask a question. Well, you're inundated with so much information it's can be almost overwhelming, right? But then you got to weed through again. We go back into that. What's truth for me at the moment, right? So don't look at all the other static when you're researching something and when you're researching your inner self. Just keep asking yourself, what's my truth? What's my truth? And start living that truth. Start working with that subconscious, right? So that you can really find the essence of the spirit of who you are. Because that divine intelligence, that God source, that all knowingness is there.
Yes.
But he or she, however you want to look at it, doesn't respond when you're coming from the darkness of the abyss and from fear. It says, okay, I'll throw this information out. Maybe they'll pay attention. However, because the divine is not going into the undivine, it doesn't happen. But we were put here to do what? To have a choice. We are in a duality Environment. You got this or you got this. So you have your free will of choice. And that's what the God source gave us.
Right. And I just wanna add on, I'm sorry, my dog is barking. I hope you can hear it.
Ah, you're fine.
Uh, uh, so I just wanted to add to what you said, that what we focus on grows. So when we focus more on fear, we're gonna have more fear. When we
Exactly.
focus more on this positive thoughts, that this COVID is gonna end, I'm gonna make it, I have all what I need right now, then nothing can stop me. So what
Right.
you focus on grows. It's one of my mottos.
Right, and that's a great motto to have because that is so true. Right? What the mind can conceive and believe, it does what? Achieves. So it all begins with a thought, and we have thousands of thoughts a day, right? So it's like, okay, in passing, a lot of the thoughts we have that we don't even recognize, but anything that runs on autopilot all begins with a thought. So start
Absolutely.
paying attention. What's your autopilot? What side of the bed do you get up on? What sock do you put on first? Do you put your shirt on or do you put your pants on? Right? Do you comb your hair first? Do you brush your teeth first? All these little automatic things start
Pay
really,
attention to your inner talk, because
yeah,
I'm sure you will agree. What really stops people from achieving more? Our inner
that
talk.
inner
This
thought. That's
inner
right.
talk, yes, it's just
But to
so,
become aware of what that inner chatter
yes,
is, you have to start checking out what your automatic pilots are. Because when you can recognize the automatic pilot and start changing some of those habits, do it differently. If you sleep on the left side of the bed, sleep on the right side of the bed. If you have a partner sleeping with you, change places. Just say, "Hey, I'm doing a demo here. We got to change places." They're going to look at you like, "Okay, what's all this about?" Dad, don't worry about it, right? And just start doing things differently. Because when you can take
yes,
the automatic pilot things and start shifting those, it's going to be much easier to begin to recognize those thought patterns, those things inside of you where the conflict is. And you're going to say, oh my gosh, this has been happening like all the time. I didn't realize it. Okay, what do I need to do to change it? All you have to do is do the opposite. Don't make it a whole project that you gotta write down and spend hours on. Oh my goodness, that's not what this is all about. As soon as you recognize something that you want to do differently, just ask yourself, this is the process I do now. What would be the furthest thing from that? And then do that. Is it going to feel uncomfortable? Oh, darn straight it is. It's gonna feel real. It's almost as simple as like when you put your hands together, which thumb, goes over the top, right?
right,
And then do it
yeah,
again and put the other one over the top. How different did that feel?
you're right. And at the
Right?
beginning, it's uncomfortable. It's like, oh, it's not what I usually
It's
do.
not
Yeah,
what I'm used to. So it's okay to start getting yourself out of the comfortability because that's also going to expand your thought processing. The neurotransmitters in the brain are going to start rebuilding, you know, make things different. Change it up, right? And
I cannot stop myself from saying, what is it? Albert Einstein said, yes. What is the biggest insanity in life that we all do? Doing the same things
over and
over and
over,
over and expecting
a
different
different
results.
outcome.
Yeah, like, come on. We have to start doing different things than we usually do,
Right.
because if it's not working, change your approach.
Yeah, just do something. Do the complete opposite. Because this is a duality world. I wrote a book on which side of the fence are you on, and it was the world of duality, right? So just do it opposite. There's an opposite. And if you're not sure what the opposite is, guess what? You know who can tell you? Google can tell you what's the opposite of, and just put it in there, and I guarantee you're gonna get a lot of different opposites. Try them all. See which one makes you feel the
Absolutely.
most uncomfortable, and then the ones that make you feel sort of comfortable, and the closer you get to the similarities of what was 100% comfortable, now you're only moving a little at a time. So try to get to the furthest uncomfortableness to really expand where you are, because this is one way also to help you find that truth, is to change what you're doing now to the
And
opposite.
when you do it, when you start changing it, it's gonna be uncomfortable because you are leaving your comfort zone, yeah, your
Oh,
comfort
yeah.
zone. And so I always suggest, instead of jumping out of your comfort zone, stretch it. Just, inch after inch, put your toe like into this cold ocean, and it's like, oh, it's weird, but then you're gonna get used to it, and you're gonna go further, and finally
Right.
you're
Yeah,
gonna
it's kind of
go
like getting
for
into a swimming pool, right? When you
right.
put your foot in, it's like, oh man, it's cold, right? But if you just jump in, you know, as soon as you hit that water, you're down, you come back up, everything is fine. But it takes more getting used to just kind of easing your way in to that water, right? So for me, I'm an extremist, okay? I admit it. I just go for it all. It's like, okay. But can you go baby steps?
Yeah.
It's what's right
Yes,
for you, what's comfortable for
exactly.
you. Again, and that's finding out a part of yourself, right? Right?
Absolutely. I just did the skydiving 2 weeks ago for the
Oh, isn't
third
that
time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's so freeing. I
Oh
did
my
week
gosh.
ago, I did zip lining, so I'm also extreme. But I know not everyone is like me. Again, what is
Right.
right for me, it might be not right for you.
That's
So
right.
if it's you don't feel like you like this extreme, stretch it. Just,
Just stretch
just
it.
do,
That's a good way to
yeah,
put it. Yeah.
go for if you want like climbing, take small mountain, then you can see,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, go up
actually I could do
6,000
it.
feet, then go up
Yes,
8, then go up 10, then go up
yes.
15. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I tell you, the first time I climbed my 15 out here in Denver, right? I went from like nothingness up. I was staying with a friend of mine who was in this hiking club, and they were on this adventure to do 15 thousand foot mountains in the summer, right? And it's like, hey, Beverly, you want to go with us? Oh, yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah, I'll go, right? It's like, well, I'm taking my camera. You guys, because they were on a mission just to run to the top and come back down. It's like, go for it, right? And so I'm up there and I'm doing my thing now. We're at 10,000, right? And man, the
Wow.
beauty up here was so awesome. It's like, you go do your 15. That wasn't my mission,
Right.
right? My mission was I needed some good shots up here, right? So I adventured off the track, and got some really good pictures. And then I went up some more, so many more feet and whatever, and got other pictures. Because now I'm looking over the valleys and the trees up here and the rock formations and the animals that I saw. I mean, this was my mission, right? And so we're going and going and going. And I think I ended up at 12,000. So by the time they got up and they were starting to come back down, I think I was somewhere around 12,000, and they said, do you
Wow.
want to go up the rest? Hell no. That's not my mission. I don't have nothing to prove. Right? And so
But what a view. Yeah, what a view from the top.
ah,
Oh my gosh.
it,
Yes.
well, because we're getting above tree line. When you start getting above tree line,
Yes.
it's real interesting. And I did that before, snowmobiling, right?
Oh
And
my
getting
goodness.
above tree line. Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
skydiving is so freeing. Oh my gosh. I did skydiving back in the 80s, and whoa, I tell you, it was so awesome. And so the first skydive I did, right, I did a
Right.
tandem, right? So I'm on this
Yes.
on,
Yes.
on this guy's back, or he's on my back, I guess I should say, right? And it's like, okay, I said, can we do something more than just like falling out of this plane? I mean, can we like make it exciting? And he goes, well, I guess he said we could roll out backwards and do a somersault and then go into free. Oh, yeah, let's do that, right? So out we went, somersaulted and went into free fall and everything. I didn't put my goggles down, right? And it's like,
Oh my God.
but it was okay. It didn't
Yeah.
bother me,
Yeah.
And as a
And
kid,
you don't really have time to think about that. It's
no,
so
I
like
was all excited
exciting.
about just
Yeah.
getting out here. And then
Yeah.
so I did several of those, right? And then I actually did my AFF all by my little lonesome self, right?
Wow.
Yeah, that was
That
so much.
is amazing.
It is. It's so much fun. And when you're climbing a mountain, whether you're on foot or on a four-wheeler or on a snowmobile is really cool because you get up there, especially if there's fresh powder. Skiing is one thing, but snowmobiling is something totally different. And
I did not try that. Oh my gosh, I have
ah,
to.
it's just so awesome, and you just go right up to the top of these mountains, and you're up on 15,000, high
Wow.
peaks and stuff, and you're in this you're in this powder. What's really cool is you get up there at the top, and then you turn around, you come down, and you're not giving it any gas, right? You're just floating, and you're steering it like this, and you're going this direction, and you're making all these funny moves. Now you're hitting tree line again, so now you're just cruising around the
Wow.
trees. you know oh my gosh, we did this for about 3-4 hours, right? Zip up to the top and then come back down again and do this, right?
But
That
you just gave this beautiful life metaphor. Oh my gosh. It's what you do, yes,
it
in
is. It's
life.
just that it's that
Oh
little
my
dance, right?
gosh.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, that next day, my arms hurt so bad. I'm like, what the heck did I do? Right? And then it dawned on me, it's like, oh my gosh, because you're plowing through this, you know, some of them was a couple feet of fresh
Wow.
powdered snow, right? And not very many people go up to the top. They stay on the
No.
on the beaten path. Well, this is somebody who doesn't stay on the beaten path. And again, ask yourself, where are you on the beaten path of your life?
Yeah.
Where are you free falling? Where are you finessing? Right? Because it's part of that whole scenario. When
And where are you stopping yourself? You could
yes,
be on, maybe you could go to the top, have this view, but you are stopping yourself
right.
just at the
Right. So, and
foothills.
as you start to come down, into your balance, are you going to have obstacles? Well, when you're up
Yeah,
here where there's no trees, you're moving, and you're really cruising, but all of a sudden now you have to weave in between the obstacles called trees. So where do you find yourself weaving through the obstacles of life? Are you saying, oh, I have to stop here because if I go past this tree, there might be a boogeyman out there? Really? Seriously? There's not. But if you believe in your mind there is, guess what? There is. Right?
yeah,
So again, it's
absolutely.
all about that finessing and even skydiving or zip lining because you're moving at a high pace. Time is what? Irrelevant. There is no time and space
Absolutely.
other than what we create in our own minds, right? We live in this duality world. We live in this time space continuum. So we ask, where has 2020 gone? Oh my gosh, this is like almost September.
Yeah, 4 months left. Like, seriously.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
seriously. Is right, like
Yeah,
seriously. So again, it just goes to show no matter what happens in life, no matter where the bog down is, time just keeps on doing what? It keeps on going. And what
yep,
happens with time? Change. Change will continue to go with or without you. So
exactly.
the question of the day is, where am I going to make changes in my life today? Where am I going to finesse where I'm going to go? Where am I going to free fall into nothingness? Where are my beliefs? Where are my truths? Where are my conflicts that I need to do what? Leave behind me. Because the past is the past. The present is the now.
Absolutely.
And if you don't want your future to look like your past, you better start living what? Better start living in the
No,
now, right?
no,
Oh
absolutely.
gosh, Beata, we could like go forever
No,
here.
absolutely. I know. I just want to add one thought because it's what is
Go
my
for it.
motto as well. My My mentor Les Brown, he said why during our conversation, and I said life is happening, and he's like, oh baby, you know his voice, like, oh baby, life happens to all of us. You are not special. Life is gonna happen to all of us. But the main question is not about what is gonna happen, but what are you gonna do with it?
That's
So
right.
all of you out there, life is happening to all of us, and right now we are experiencing the same feelings. And now, how you experience that, it's on you. What you're gonna do with life is offering you at the moment, because there is a gift in all what is happening.
Right.
Find it.
Find it. Oh, what a beautiful way to end the show. That is so awesome because it is. It's find it. Because you know what? When it's gone, it's gone. Doesn't
Yes,
always come back. Right? When opportunity knocks, open the door. Right?
absolutely. I love that. Yep.
Right. Oh my goodness. Right now, it's time to say what? Go out there, be that best you that you can be. Because what?
Make a change.
No, I'm supposed to say because you and I are going to be the best we that we can be, right?
Oh
Oh,
yes,
that's,
we are
we
already, and we becoming even more
E-
better.
Exactly. And that's what change is all about. Thank you all for listening to us. And hey, you know what? Do you want to have her back again? Say yes, yes, because I do. This is great. Thank you, Beta, for being here again. And you know what? We don't live that far apart, and we definitely have got to get together before the snow falls.
Absolutely. Yes,
So,
let's do it.
namaste. Go out there, everyone.
Namaste.
Make it an awesome day and do what? Get out of the conflict of who you are and get into the peace. See you on the next show.